Hello, my name is Trea. I'm from Loophead in West Clare, and I want to thank Anne for inviting me here to share the story of Loophead and our journey and the tourism route. Listening to all the stories here, those stories resonate a lot with us. As I hear them, we're all on a journey really, and we're at different stages along the way. The stories of Knockmeal Down and of Abbey Leaks are really inspiring. Really interested in those plans, and I think one of the messages that came through is we really have to create projects that us as locals enjoy, and then invite the tourists after that, and they can enjoy it with us. So that's really key. I also have I'm a volunteer on the Loophead Tourism Management Committee, but I have my own business with my husband Kevin. It's a glamping and camping eco-retreat and yoga space for my family. So we live in West Clare, we live in Loophead Peninsula, we love it, and we want to keep it there for ourselves, for our young people, and keep jobs in the area and make it a nice place to live, basically. So we've long history with the tourism in Loophead. Well, it's actually really Kilkee. So this is Kilkee back in Victorian times. So they've been coming to the area for over 200 years, and they came to it as a retreat space. So somewhere where you've got the ocean, where you've the sea. They came to the spas. They came to get away from it all, and they're still coming here today. The tourism was mostly focused around Kilkee, really, up until the early 2000s, really. Mostly a lot of Limerick people that came and had holiday homes, and they had caravans and caravan parks, that kind of thing. Nobody really went back west, and to be honest, I grew up in Kilkee, and anywhere outside Kilkee back west was kind of like the country. I was towny, in Kilkee. So it's amazing how our minds work, But my grandparents are way back west, back in Kildaha, the Gibsons, and my other grandparents are down in Quirn, where we actually have our site now, so we've pretty much come back home again. So this is us here. This is the whole peninsula here. You can see here, so this is us down here in Quirn. This is Kilkee. Okay. The Destination Loophead kind of came about with this Eden Award. So Eden is a European award. It came around every 2 years. There was different themes, and we won it for aquatic tourism. So Mulrani won it for the Greenway, Clonakilty won it, Sheepshead won it for walking, Carlingford Cooley won it for heritage. So and there's been more and more, and I've kind of lost track, and there's a new one being announced soon as well. That really was the thing it was the catalyst really that kicked us off, because to apply for the award we had to show something bigger than just Kilkee. So the communities got together. So there's 3 actual parishes here that you can see. So there's Kilkee, there's Mayarta Parish, and then there's Kilballion off to the west. So we have the Kilkee Chamber of Commerce looking after business in Kilkee. We have Cargo Hold Development Association looking after cargo hold in that area, and then we have Kilballion looking after the whole kind of west, so across all the way back west. So these 3, there we go. So these 3 organisations came together, and we formed a management committee called Loophead Tourism, because, like people have mentioned already, you need to actually have a group to go and get funding, or you need a group to be, for the likes of Fáilte Ireland to take notice, and Tourism Ireland to take notice. They don't want to deal with individuals, they want to deal with networks, something that they can sell. They kind of want it, handed up and wrapped, but there is a lot of supports for that as well, which is brilliant. So something I mentioned there, you can see we're pretty much surrounded by water, right? We're almost like an island. And one of the things that won the Eden Award was traditional boating, traditional sailing. We just built a beautiful hooker, here with one of the, it is the time of the recession. There's a lot of people unemployed. We got a bit of funding. A lot of people interested in the maritime history and heritage of the peninsula. So between that and between, you see here, so this is we're surrounded by SACs. So Tom has mentioned your SACs on the river here, and trying to get walks, trying to get anything where you've got special areas of conservation, special protected areas. All this, it means it kind of translates into reports and appropriate assessments, etc. So we know all about that in Loophead. What we do have here in the SAC, and the reason why it's really good for it to be protected, is that you've got between 120 and 160 bottlenose dolphins resident here on the Shannon here, and you've also got migratory birds stopping in a number of different little places there, lovely little creeks and lagoons and things like that as well. So then so the groups got together to put in this application for Eden. So we had dolphin watching, we had fishing, we had the traditional boating and sailing, and also what they liked was the idea that we were all referring each other. So if somebody was busy in one B&B, that they'd ring up the next person. The trick was to keep them in the area. Don't let them drive on to the next place, you know. So establishing the brand is really important, and a brand makes it very easy for visitors because they know what to expect, and they know what to expect. So for us, this was our brand. It's what are the words that you would use to describe your area? And I've heard it in Knock Me Down, and I've heard it with Abby Leaks. You know, you're very sure of your brand now at this stage. So for us, these are the words that kind of describe our area for us. And one of the things as we came together is that we didn't want the brand of Loophead to be this big marketing thing, this big flashy commercial e-commerce site. We wanted it to feel natural, to feel this feeling of retreat, this feeling of really kind of getting away from it all. And actually our tagline is Loophead, prepare to be blown away. So we say Monday evening when the first 10 comes in. How we survive on it. So the area selection was important, and I know it was in the previous slide, but I'll kind of mention it again here as well. Because we were getting a lot of focus now. Loophead was getting a lot of focus. We were on Eco-Eye. The lighthouse opened at the same time, which is brilliant. So now we were getting people, and they were saying, "Oh, what can we do, and who can we contact?" And we had no real network. We didn't actually know what we had really. So that was our next step. So we applied to Leader for funding for animation. You might have heard of animation. It's absolutely brilliant. They don't seem to be funding animation anymore, and I don't know why, because it's what works. It's bodies on the ground doing work that works, and I keep saying it and I keep banging that drum, but anyways, you kind of have to wrap other jobs. You have to wrap animation up in like plans and reports, and then you might get funding. But so we got funding for animation, and I was the animator in 2012, so I did that role for a year. I had a work program, and the work program was basically to create the brand of Loophead, was to create a number of little bundles and packages, which I see Knock Me Down and Munster Vales have done. So very much like your program there, we followed a program like that. We had fam trips, we created the bundles, the packages. But the very first thing that we did was we had an open day, and we invited a really good speaker. He was a travel writer, and he basically said to us as a community, like, what's your vision? What do you want out of this? Where do you want to go with this tourism thing? So we kind of said, well, actually, we want to be able to live in Loophead, enjoy it, have projects that we enjoy, like walking, cycling. Heritage is going to be important, the arts is going to be important. So we kind of developed from there. The ethos is going to be responsible tourism, community tourism, but also ecotourism. We have 2 gold ecotourism certified businesses on the peninsula, ourselves, Pure Camping, and Dolphin Watch as well. So the first thing, my first job was to do an inventory, or an audit basically, of everything. Accommodation. The people, they can't experience your projects if there's no one for them to stay. So accommodation was a big issue, and somebody mentioned capacity earlier, and that's the thing. Kilkee had a certain amount of capacity, but we had to extend the area back into all the other villages, Cargo Hold, Cross, Kilbaha. People had to, begin to open up new B&Bs, guest houses, campsites, glamping sites, and I'd like a variety for everybody's budget, So one of the first things we did then after that was we had a series of workshops, brainstorming workshops, okay? And we categorised them into walking and cycling, outdoor activities, heritage and the arts, and food. And within those focus groups, we put up all the target markets. So they're kind of a bit old-fashioned now, the target markets. They're all new, the new Fáilte Ireland, Culture Curious, and the Great Escapers and all those. But we kind of did it more on age groups, so like couples, families, over 55s, backpackers, that type of thing. And we put together a number of itineraries and packages and bundles for all those different age groups. And the group And the idea was that these focus groups, they would then be responsible for providing content and input for websites, an app if we were going to do an app, all our promotional material. I'm going to the next slide there actually. Yeah. So an important thing for us is when somebody books Pure Camping, they get an acknowledgement straight away and that says, welcome, very delighted you booked with us. While you are here, go dolphin watching, go horse riding, Carmen's riding school around the corner, make sure you experience our Loophead food circle and blah blah blah. And so they can plan 5 days in the area if they really want to. And then you'll say, and you can go and visit the Cliffs Moher, and you can go and visit East Clare, and then you can go, outside of that then if they want to stay longer than that. Again, we mentioned referrals, farm trips not just with media and Fáilte Ireland, Tourism Ireland, that type of thing, but actually within yourself, so that, I can't wait, I'm going to go to Knockbendown, I'm going to experience the Munster Vales, I want to see your bundles and packages and actually go do that, because then, again, it's to know what's going on and to be able to experience it so you can pass that information on to other people as well. Community membership was a big part of us, so we're not just businesses, so we invite community members to take part in our activities as well. So we have a conservation group as well. So particularly beach cleanups, we have multiple ones. We have loads of beaches and we have loads of plastic on our beaches. So every year around springtime, in conjunction with Antashka's beach, or Antashka's spring clean, we hook up with them and we have trailer loads of rubbish that we all bring, young and old, they all clean up the beaches. And artists, they get free listings on the website as well, because they're adding the richness basically to the whole product. So these are some of this kind of shows the kind of branding really. It's that kind of a feel to it. So out of that program, we created this lovely seasonal calendar. So this is it, and these are hand printed, these bits here. So there's just a little artist touch on it. A seasonal calendar, so basically what flora and fauna you can see at a particular time, at any particular time of the year at Loophead, because we also want to extend the season a little bit. We're kind of succeeding now into kind of April, May, June, and into September, October. The Wild Atlantic Greys really helped us with that, and I'm sure the Munster Vales will as well. So we have all these little A5 interpretation sheets that they're all tucked into this little brochure here. So we give these to people who are staying around for a while, and they can go off and explore the shore with the kids with the bucket and spade and all the rest of it. So we've horse riding, we've cycling, we've walking, seaweed baths, the therapy centre is a big thing, and we've a hedge school arrived out of the whole thing as well, so I'll keep going. So the focus groups, they weren't just about inputting to the websites and all that. They still exist today, and they've all got action plans. And we've all got jobs. So basically, the walking and cycling one, we organised the Loophead Walking Festival. That was a new festival that came out of it. There's other festivals to do with food. So there's a Loophead food circle now that was never there before. There's a trail. There's events, so Taste the Loop, the Bootleggers Ball. It's a big fundraiser every year. It's a fancy dress for the whole community, and it raises 3,000-4,000 euro as well, just to feed in, because we're paying for all this ourselves. We're paying for all the marketing and all the blurb, all the tear off sheets, all that type of thing. But Leader did fund that initial animation role, and they funded hard supports for that. So some of the actual, like the website and other initially training and research projects. So so this is the website. So this is what you see when you come in first. You can see the 4 areas kind of in the area. So Riverside and Carrigo Holt are together there. So just so that everybody is represented and that the story of each place is told. So then you kind of go into the centre of it there, the next one. And the most important thing really is to, when people come to the area, is to know where they can stay. So that's on the top, you can see it there. Where they can eat, what they can eat, what to see and what to do. And again, we show our fishing and our farming, and we really wanted the website to show who we are as people. We didn't want it, again, to be an e-commerce site. We wanted to, this is us, and this is our community. We also had a photo bank. He mentioned a photo bank. It's really important, a photo bank that everybody can use with no question as to the rights of using the photographs. Video clips, it's all video now. They don't want photographs anymore. If you get any bit of a slot on television, if you get a phone call, it's a video clip they're looking for, you know, because that's what works. You see your video is amazing, so and everybody's attention there for quite a while. Accommodation is a massive thing. Again, I can't stress it anymore. I know we talk about bed nights, but you know, you do need, in the area that you're kind of promoting, whatever, you do need a certain amount of beds and bed nights for people. So heritage is one of the really important elements of our tourism network. If you get a chance to do it, I'm sure some of you have done it already, but there's a really good training that we organise for our community. It's called Reading the Landscape Heritage Training, and Zina Hofter gave that training, and we opened it up to the community as well as tourism network, the tourism network. She came, she basically took us out on field trips. She showed us how to recognise things and how to, I suppose, value things, to look around, look out your window and go, oh, because there's over 200 ring forts in the Loophead Peninsula. It's a very high density of ring forts, and there's been huge studies done. We all kind of picked an area of an interest. I picked ring forts and holy wells, somebody else picked shipwrecks, someone else picked Victorian Kilkee, vernacular architecture. These were other projects. We had a massive exhibition at the end of it, and it was lovely. It was lovely to see the whole community come in and look and see, and it really, really engaged people, young and old. People came out. Our heritage officer is really good in our county, Conjela, she's excellent, and she's always kind of phoning me and kind of running things, throwing things past my and screen basically, and this is the first thing she's always wanted to do, this heritage audit. So myself and a colleague, we applied for funding to the Heritage Council, and we conducted this heritage audit over a year really, and we used the Record of Monument of Places as a resource, and many other things as well. But we actually created our own database, an access database, and we in total we came up with over 800 items of heritage in the Loophead Peninsula. We added an extra 300 to what was there already, but they included like storm beaches and you know, little coves, little goleens, things that you know would be lost, and they're not really recorded. You know, but we'd go out onto the land, we'd chat to farmers, and they'd tell us a story about how all the geese used to fly into that particular hole on the beach, and they'd all be down there chasing them, or you know, they all had their own stories, and we recorded all those as well. You might have heard of Queen of Unclore, another fantastic project and great organisation, and they record stories from the kind of elderly population in the area as well. So this project is a great success, provided raw materials for a heritage trail into the future. This is the other little project that is on the right hand side of it. Came after it. We studied the vernacular architecture of Loophead as well, and we added all that to the database, photographed. A lot of these buildings will be gone in another, some of them will be gone in 10 years, some of them will be gone in 20 or 30 years. And at the end of it, there was a recommendation into the planning office to say, look, even if people are going to knock these houses down, can they please just photograph them, and just at least we'll have that in the archive so that we'll have some memory of them. Somebody mentioned Active Me earlier. Active Me did some work for you. So Active Me came in on this project. So the Wild Atlantic Way, the Heritage Council and Clare County Council came together, and they wanted to create this kind of a model where they could create new products all down along the Wild Atlantic Way, new projects. So we got to be the kind of the prototype because we had already done a heritage audit of the area, so a lot of the information was there. So they wanted to create this database, this idea of this database that you could actually pull from it to create an app if you wanted to, a website, a book, a publication, it's all there. There's photographs, there's video recordings, there's interviews with local people. They can all be searched on any type thing that you wanted to be searched with. They loaded it onto a heritage database called omeka.net, and it's really brilliant. It's kind of like a skeleton database, and you just plug into it all your information from there. So that was the kind of the next phase of our heritage trail as such, and traced together, okay? And then they created the that map, and then the next phase was Abarta Heritage, which came along because what we had was a lovely thing. We created these Z cards, this one here. So it's like our past in your pocket, and you basically stick it in your pocket, and then you fold it out, and it's your little heritage trail. So we had discs out around on the sites. We didn't want to be putting too much out in the landscape. Abarta came along. They were able to create this fabulous audio guide for us. And then if we move on, I just want to get to the important bits at the end. Okay, so for your group here, measure of success. New businesses are created, new festivals are created, which meant you more on offer to visitors, more jobs created, new products created, so more visitors staying longer. We wanted less people, higher spend, less people. We didn't want big coach tours because they don't leave too much money behind, to be honest. Yes, so we're moving far. And our roads can't take it and the people don't want it. So if you go to the next one. The challenges, so who are your target markets? So you just have to go back to your marketing plan basically and just decide who are the people that are going to come to a boat event in the area or wherever it may be. Network members, so your tourism network members, how to keep them engaged. So this is back to the volunteers again. How do you keep your network members engaged and contributing, that they feel like they're contributing and that they're taking part? How to keep the momentum going within the group, and how to manage tourism numbers. And the solutions are on the next page, kind of. So develop your marketing strategy. Okay, so your SWOT, you're going to do that possibly this afternoon. Outline the P's of marketing as well. Do your competitive analysis. Who else is doing what you're doing somewhere else, and just see what they've done and the success of it or otherwise. Have your biannual network meetings. Paid roles. These are two things that I think every network needs. It needs a paid development officer or project coordinator who can drive these projects forward, and it needs a marketing officer. A focused marketing strategy with well-defined target markets. And also you need to communicate your ethos, whatever it is. So you've got very good communication with all your councils, but keep up with the national tourism agencies as well, for Ireland, Tourism Ireland and all that. And then to summarise, your area selection is important. If it's too big and broad, sometimes it gets diluted and people are confused as to what you're actually offering. Accommodation is key because they have to stay somewhere. Have a plan and make achieve goals. You want a good active management committee, and I know that you have that already. Communication and participation within the network is key. Apply for awards, get shortlisted, win awards, and talk about it to everybody. And tell your story. It's an interesting one.